I'm gonna tell you right now. This is from her father. You bunch of lying no good punks, and I know who it's coming from because I've traced it, and you've been reported to cyber police because I've traced it. Consequences will never be the same because I've traced it, and you've been reported to cyber police because I've traced it. You'll be arrested. End of conversation. Well, guess what? My daughter's not lying, and I'm not gonna put up with any of you people's crap. If you ain't got something nice to say about my daughter, then keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. And any more of your comments and put it on there will be caught and will be bound. You will have to deal with the police, cause you done goofed. Cause you done goofed. Because I've traced it, and you've been reported to the cyber police because I've traced it. Consequences will never be the same because I've traced it, and you've been reported to the cyber police because I've traced it. You'll be arrested. End of conversation.
I don't know what you want me to tell you, but
he said he wanted a confession. I wouldn't believe.
Oh, hey, what's up, y'all? Oh, excuse me. I'm trying to get more followers on Rumble and Twitch, for that matter.
Don't you ever get the conscience for doing this, having to look Roy Johnson in the face? And I told him that I didn't know what he was talking about. He had him against the wall. My hands are behind my back. And he opened his nightstick in my stomach and said he was going to get a confession. You tell him he was more or less a madman. I was crying, I was upset. He took his gun, opens the cylinder, and takes 5 bullets and stands them on in. Right said. I want you to tell me when you picked them up. I want you to tell me. I was most scared. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what to say. He closed it. He spun the chamber. And he points his gun like this and says he's going to blow my brains out if I don't sign a confession. Okay. Write down everything you remember about that day. He had already beaten him half to death. Told him his stomach. I could see that he was meant what he said. And I asked him, what do you want me to sign? He tells me that he'll tell me what to write.
you drink a beer while you were riding out that way? Yes, sir.
Less than an hour after Jerry Mitchell left the room, he returned. Self now seemed upset and visibly shaken.
He was, in my opinion, kind of being led in a sequence of events that have risk. I think about half a page of writing on there, by the time it was all over with. I think they tend to rewrite that when something wasn't right in it. Not being part of the investigation, really wasn't privy to all the details of it, why they weren't for us, but I do know that they rewrote the confession several times.
Self's confession, however, did not fit the known facts of the girl's disappearance. One glaring instance. The confession said Self dumped the bodies in a place called El Largo, 20 miles from the Taylor Bayou, where the bodies were actually found. Self's appellate attorney, Jerry Bernberg, points out other discrepancies.
There's a statement in here that what he did was, in essence, he choked one of the 2 girls. There was no evidence of the breaking of some very tender bones in the neck that necessarily would have been damaged if in fact, he had choked one of the girls to death. There is this claim that went to Sharon Shaw's house. Well, Sharon Shaw's family contradicts that, so she wasn't home that day. That didn't occur. There's the statement that the girls were hanging out of the window and hollering as they were all driving in the car. And yet David Colburn did this very thorough investigation, and nobody saw the two girls that night driving down the road, hollering, waving, and screaming.
I had statements from two girls signed by their parents as a witness that they talked to Sharon Shaw and Renee Johnson in Galveston between 8 and 9 o'clock. There's no conceivable way that Sharon Shaw and Renee Johnson could have got another ride and been in Webster, riding around with Michael Lloyd Self at the time that they got his confession.
3 days after Michael Self's arrest, he went against his original attorney's advice and agreed to take a lie detector test.
He's your first name, Michael. Yes, sir.
According to Jerry Bernberg, police asked Self about more area murders.
Yes.
Between July 1971 and February 1972, 7 other young girls and 1 young boy had been found murdered in a 4-county area that included Webster.
Do you know the cause of death of the two girls?
Yes.
In the course of giving him the polygraph exam, they say, well, now we've got this statement that you gave last Friday where you confessed to killing these two girls. Is it true? He says, yeah. And the lie detector says, no, it's not. It's not true at all.
After taking the polygraph, Self Chief Morris, when he agreed to sign his confession. He did not mention any of the other murders that did contain a move or treat of his hips, Rhonda, and Sharon. In the first confession, Self said he struck Sharon Shaw with his fist and shoved the girls' bodies into a culvert. In the second, Self claimed he hit Shaw with a Coke bottle and dumped their bodies in the bayou. The second confession also says Self stripped the murdered girls of their clothing and tossed them out along the highway. However, clothing was found with the remains, along with an unidentified set of car keys and a crucifix worn by Sharon Shaw.
There was a slight difference in the two written confessions. But all I had to do was offer evidence, the confession I want to go with. And if the facts, the underlying facts, tended to support the elements of this confession, that's all I needed if the jury believed.
Yes, sir.
2 weeks after Self's arrest, 2 Harris County Sheriff's deputies checked him out of jail on the pretext of buying him a hamburger. Afterwards, they drove him to places mentioned in the confessions and took pictures of him at each location. It was presented in court as a third confession.
He didn't confess a third time. He went on a ride with 2 police officers who had illegally checked him out of the jail to drive him around and take pictures to get evidence for a trial. They didn't discover anything new.
While Self was awaiting trial, he was visited by Dave Colburn, who was by then chief of police in nearby Cleveland, Texas.
All right. All right. Not too good.
At the time, he looked very depressed and very distraught, when I walked in. And I asked him, he said he didn't do it. And I asked him what had happened. And he had told me about Don Morris threatening him with this billy club and poking him.
Yes. Open it up. Start pulling out 5 bullets, one at a time.
When he made that statement to me, I knew what had come down because a year prior, I witnessed Don Morris taking 1 shell of his revolver, hiding it, placing 5 shells in front of a prisoner, and playing Western roulette with that prisoner, threatening him. And there's no doubt in my mind that he did that to Michael Ortsack. And when it came to the trial, I was prepared to go in and make statements, and I was never caught.
I don't know what you did the rest of the way right now. Bottom line, all 3 confessions are consistent. I killed the girls. All of them consistent.
On May 15, 1973, Michael Self was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison. 3 years later, the town of Webster was shot, and Don Morris, Tommy Deal, were arrested for bank robbery. The offenders were again stealing a bank far back in 1972. 5 months before Michael Self was arrested. In 1976, Don Morris was sentenced to 55 years. 20 years before. Both were eventually paroled. Tommy Deal returned to Rutland Banks and is now back in federal prison. The tradition of wearing the records of each one. That's an extended and eventually given. Just 9 years before their life. The best got the look.
We just want to give up.
They're shot up like not the one killed. Local sort of group to the police station in Taylor Lake, Texas. He told George Carr and the state prosecutor Douglas O'Brien that he, not Michael Self, had murdered Rhonda Johnson and Sharon Shaw.
Thank you, Urban Odyssey.
Douglas O'Brien represented the state when Self appealed his conviction, but now believes Self is innocent.
What'd you do with their bodies after you killed them? I basically got the impression from him that what he wanted to do was to get it off his chest and confess to the fact that he killed the girls, but at the same time not give information which would allow prosecution of him. Where'd you put their bodies in the water?
I don't know, it was the same way the car was. I mean, they didn't want to go through with it on the date, and it was like, I tied them up with this black cord, and I tied them up, and I just threw them in the water.
His account of how he killed him or whatever was very vague and disjointed, but he did mention that he used a cord in which to tie the girls' bodies down when he put them into the water.
The statement by this individual indicated that he had tied their feet with black cord. Something Michael Self had never mentioned, not found in any statement by Michael Self. That was the secret fact that the police had held back all these years. This guy knew it.
That guy was out of his gourd. He was I don't
Yeah, I think I need at least 5 followers to go live.
I don't remember exactly what I did, all right?
And I got 3.
What he talked about was anything that could have been picked out of the newspaper.
And one of those is me.
There's no question about this person who came forward. It's just all these people like to confess the crimes.
The individual was clearly a very troubled person with some flights to psychosis, but he knew the girls. He lived in the same apartment complex with one of them. And the most important thing of all, he knew about the black cord.
Despite the surprise confession and the credibility he had created by the criminal activities of Morris and Dean, Michael Self's conviction was upheld.
They have no corroborating evidence whatsoever. Nothing to tie him to any murder or to even being seen with these girls except this, which is not what the papers wrote.
Legally speaking, he's innocent, just from a standpoint that, number one, I don't think his confessions were voluntarily entered. Number two, I don't think there's any corroborating evidence concerning those confessions.
He was the type of personality that was easy prey for Don Morris, that was easy prey for Tommy Deal. It's easy prey for bank robbers parading as police officers. And that's what happened.
If you were trying to die, naturally some of these areas would be clarified. These particular points we're talking about. You go back and spend more time and send better investigators out. And make our decision as to whether to prosecute or not.
That wasn't the right video I was trying to upload it from.
Next Wednesday, on the season premiere of Unsolved Mysteries. For 5 years, Bruce Kelly has been haunted by fragmented images of a life not his own. A life that apparently ended on a doomed submarine during World War II. Is Kelly's story a remarkable case of reincarnation, or is there another, more rational explanation? In Chicago, a young boy is victimized by a hit-and-run driver. His family needs your help to find the man they believe is responsible. And thanks to tips from you, our viewers, a fugitive cult leader wanted on criminal charges in Missouri has been arrested. It's Wednesday, the dramatic season premiere of Unsolved Mysteries.
What up, Stu?
For more than 20 years, Mary Clancy suffered from the debilitating effects of multiple sclerosis. Then a violent summer storm swept over Mary's house, brought with it what can only be called a miracle. A powerful bolt of lightning that apparently released Mary from the shackles of a devastating disease. July 1986. A young Marine is nearly killed during a brutal hazing ritual called a Code Red. It sounds like a movie, but it's because the film A Few Good Men, starring Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson, was based on the incident. Tonight, the disturbing untold story behind the movie. Most people know Reggie White as one of the most feared players in the National Football League. He's also an ordained minister. Last January, a tragic fire ravaged White's church in Knoxville, Tennessee. In the room,
Oh yeah, Stu, funny shit.
unthinkable signs of arson. Ugly, tainted racing. They call him a taunting background. And now his flamboyant criminal career has come to an end, thanks to one of our viewers. Join me for these intriguing cases, much more. Perhaps you will be able to help us solve them.
I'm on Twitch and Rumble. Well, I can't go live on Rumble yet because I don't have enough followers. But I'm trying to get my followers up.
Almost everyone knows about.
I gotta upload some videos to Rumble.
Jack Nicholson and Demi Moore. And not everybody knows that A Few Good Men is based on an actual event. It tells the story of Marines on trial for attacking a squadron in a brutal hazing ritual known as a Code Red. Amazingly, that event still has repercussions today. Repercussions that may have led to the mysterious death of one of the Marines that executed the Code Red. David Cox of Needham, Massachusetts, joined the Marines straight out of high school. Being one of the proud and the few was all he ever wanted. In 1986, David was stationed in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, a naval base the U.S. had refused to give up when Fidel Castro came to power in the 1950s. Political tensions kept the base on constant alert. Trouble filtered down to David Cox when another platoon member, PFC William Alvarado, wrote to his senator about Marine misconduct.
We didn't actually decide to have a Code Red for Alvarado on our own. Our platoon commander had given us an implied order that if we were good Marines, something should happen to Alvarado. Saturday night, we went into Alvarado's room, blindfolded him and gagged him, and then dragged him off his bed.
What up, Frank Rizzo Jerky says?
Dave started
Oh,
shaking
hold on,
his head.
sorry.
Within
I mean
5
chips.
minutes, he had stopped struggling, so we knew something was wrong.
Something's wrong.
Thank you.
David Cox convinced his platoon mates to stop the hazing.
So we removed the gap.
Rumble's cool. Yeah, I thought Twitch was going to be your new spot. How's the PS4 fund coming along? It's not.
At that point, we started to panic.
No one's donated to the GoFundMe.
Alvarado was rushed to the hospital. He recovered, but his 10 attackers were slapped with charges.
Relax, Cox. Sir, yes, sir. That's relaxing. Come on, sit down.
Don Marcari was appointed to defend David Cox.
They're gonna charge you with attempted murder. They got a confession from you, and they got a pretty beat up Marine. Doesn't look too good.
Sir, I was just following orders, sir.
David claimed the Code Red started with implied orders from his superior officers.
They're prepared to offer an administrative discharge. It's less than honorable, but there'd be no court-martial proceeding, and you wouldn't be looking at 20 years if you were found guilty.
Sir, but I'm not guilty, sir.
I told David that this was a defense of obedience to orders that had not been successful in Nuremberg, had not been successful with Lieutenant Colonel My Life. And plus, we had a colonel denying he had given
What up, Vaughn?
So we had the additional burden of now saying he was following.
PlayStation shut PS4 down.
Case to win. And I
You
told
mean
David,
they're going to discontinue it?
We'll do it your way.
I don't think they did it yet, but
He believed in his heart that he
I heard rumors they wanted to discontinue the PS4.
David's gamble was a qualified success. He was convicted only of simple assault and sentenced to time already served in the brig. He
Good
then
one,
completed
Frank
his
Rizzo
duty, received
Jerky.
an honorable discharge, and returned to civilian life in his hometown in the Boston area.
What up, Lady Mistress on Twitch?
6 years later, when A Few Good Men hit the theaters, David felt the movie makers had stolen his story.
Other than that, those were parts that didn't really happen like that. For one, kind of died. Like, you know, that next April.
David's reaction was that he was stunned. here he was watching his life in front of him, and he wasn't getting any of the credit from it. The anger came a little bit later, because it was this movie company that was making tons, millions of money off of his story. And if it weren't for him, the story never would have existed in the first place.
David and some of the other Marines involved in the Code Red filed suit against the movie production company. While it was pending, David spoke out about his case on radio talk shows.
Hey,
By January of 1994, David and his girlfriend Elaine had set up housekeeping together. David was hoping a temporary job at United Parcel Service would become permanent.
What about the video?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm doing everything I should do. David was very enthusiastic about getting on board with them. And I think it was something where he felt that he could have a full-time, steady occupation.
All right, then, Frank Rizzo Turkey.
Mounjaro for adults with type 2 diabetes.
I see you. And you. And you. Putting in the work day after day. In you, I see me. Someone rising to the challenge. I see your determination and strength. I see your unshakable spirit.
Mounjaro for type 2 diabetes. Don't take Mounjaro if you're allergic to it, or if you or someone in your family have medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Stop and call your doctor right away if you have an allergic reaction, a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or vision changes. Serious side effects may include inflamed pancreas and gallbladder problems. Taking Mounjaro with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. Tell your doctor if you're nursing, pregnant, trying to be, or taking birth control pills, and before scheduled procedures with anesthesia. Side effects include nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting, which can cause dehydration and may cause kidney problems.
So what do I see? Someone who's got what it takes to do diabetes differently with Mounjaro.
Ask your doctor about once weekly Mounjaro, paid partnership with Lilly.
Oh, my bad, y'all. I'm eating some cheddar cheese Pringles.
David expected to hear about the UPS job on January 5th, 1994. Because of a back problem, he spent the night before on the couch.
You missed me sitting here watching Unsolved Mysteries, eating potato chips.
Elaine left about 8:30. Shortly afternoon, she called home. David didn't answer, but there was a message for him on the machine.
So I was really excited. I was like, oh, cool, Dave's gonna get this job, and he's gonna be so excited. Then I called back again at 1 o'clock to check the messages, and that message was still there, and UPS guy called again at 2.
David?
At 5:30, Elaine returned home.
David?
When I came to the house that night after work, I realized right away that the doors to all the rooms were open, and a rabbit who we usually just kept in the kitchen was hopping all over the place.
David's truck was still in the driveway, the keys in the ignition. David had left an uncashed paycheck on the dashboard and his 9mm gun in the glove box. David himself was gone.
I immediately had a feeling of dread because I know David well enough. David would not just disappear. And right from the start, I was very concerned.
As the days went on and There was nothing, there's no news from him, and we checked his bank account, there was no activity on his bank account. And he started to believe that, maybe something did happen, but why?
There would be no answers until the spring thaw. On April 2nd, 1994, a body of David Cox was discovered on the banks of the Charles River in Medfield, Massachusetts, approximately 5 miles from his apartment.
He was shot, according to the Emmy, 4 times. Once at the base of the rear of the neck, and 3 times in the left side torso area.
David's wallet was still in his back pocket, cash and credit cards intact. It seemed obvious that robbery was not the motive, and police have since ruled out a random attack. They are convinced David left his home with someone he knew.
It's our belief that he got in the car willingly, that he knew who was coming to pick him up, and that he went to this area and walked into the woods with this person. We really believe that Dave was what we would call a scrapper. If he knew there was some danger loitering ahead, he would do his best to get out of that. I think that if it was somebody that was just holding a gun on him or something like that, that they would do it within the first 30 or 40 yards into the woods. Dave was found almost 3/4 to a mile walking into the woods.
I don't know why David was killed. I personally believe it had something to do with the military. He was taken out of his house without signs of struggle. He was wearing his Marine Corps jacket, which he never wore. He was found between 2 hunting ranges where gunshots would not be unusual. And he was murdered execution style.
Now, there was a movie opening tonight called A Few Good Men. After the release of A Few Good Men, David had been highly vocal about his story and the U.S. activities in Cuba. David's family believes he may have talked too much.
To say the least, we were trying to provoke a war pretty much every day.
Because of this colonel.
Yeah, he would never say it directly, but.
Pringles, though.
Okay.
After I heard that interview on the radio, I spoke to him and I said, I
Cheddar
don't like
cheese
what you're doing.
Pringles.
I think what you're doing is dangerous.
The colonel had implied.
And I think he felt far too free to just speak his mind.
It says here that glows in the dark.
Police checked out the military angle to David's murder.
Apparently the can glows in the dark.
If you were fighting back after a while.
I'm gonna test that out in a minute.
It shows us that the military in any way, shape, or form involved with David's death. But we're certainly open to anything that comes our way in regards to the military. This is Captain, the supervisor.
David's brother suggested another possible scenario, a UPS connection.
Taking the good packages and taking it away from the regular, steal it. Yeah, steal it.
A couple of months before Dave disappeared, he had mentioned to me that he had come upon a supervisor and one of the drivers involved in some type of activity where he believed to be was theft.
I interviewed a number of people. They were candid with me, I felt. Certainly, if there was anything there with UPS, I think as far as they were concerned, paramount was David's death, and they would certainly told me anything that UPS was involved with.
At this point, the investigation is still open. It'll remain open until we solve it. Again, we'll follow any leads that can come through vigorously and remain to do that until it is solved.
I'm angry what happened to my son. I'm angry that someone could do that and get away with it. My life has been devastated by this murder. It really has. A death would be bad enough. A murder is just dreadful.
At this point, police have only one hope. Someone saw David Cox leave his home between 8:30 and noon on January 5th, 1994. Perhaps someone saw the person who picked him up with the vehicle they left. Coming up, for a disabled woman, a harrowing brush with death apparently culminates in a miraculous rebirth. But first, Kevin knows with this time Reggie White asks for your help to find the arsonist who burned out his church. captured a criminal suspect. Always brings us great satisfaction. Tonight, another fugitive is in custody, thanks to your call.
Everybody knows what chai is. Nobody really knows what chai is. Fresh ginger, sound black.
I'll be right back.
That real authentic chai is still so hard to get in America.
We saw this amazing opportunity to create a household name for chai, two brothers working together, bringing authentic, exclusive tea to America.
What Anya and I had built was really centered around what the soul of what I think chai is all about. I've never seen anything like that in America.
The brand is very much a reflection of the values that we grew up with as first generation kids. It was almost like a calling for us. On Amazon, we were able to serve people across the country. And then investing in Amazon ads extended the brand and it was unlocked for bringing this product to every household.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I love Pringles.
Thomas Dixon is the walking definition of career criminal. He was paroled in May of 1984 after serving 10 years of hard time for armed robbery. It hadn't reformed him one bit.
This is the whole lot. Just stay cool.
During the 5 months following his release from prison, Dixon and a series of accomplices knocked off 7 banks in North Carolina.
That's what's up still.
An FBI raid brought down Thomas Dixon in October of 1984. And he spent
Dude, why haven't you followed me on
He
Rumble?
was paroled in 1994, as unrepentant as ever.
This is a whole lot.
Dixon again hit banks in the Carolinas, 5 in a 7-week spree. He showed up in one surveillance state after another.
Have you FBI rid of Thomas Dixon?
But there was a disturbing new twist to Dixon's MO. Now he taunted the FBI with advance notice of his bank jobs. When one of Dixon's getaway cars was discovered, federal investigators concluded that he had deliberately left it for them to find. Inside were photos of Dixon's impressive arsenal. In a note, Dixon threatened future robberies, warned of a bloody shootout if anyone tried to stop him.
Dixon was alerting us to the fact that he is heavily armed and he has every intention of using those arms in a confrontation with law enforcement.
1 week before our broadcast, Thomas Dixon struck again, this time in Pennsylvania. Here's Keel, with a dramatic conclusion to the case.
Bob, thanks to one of our viewers, Dixon's most recent heist will probably be his last. After the robbery, Dixon fled Pennsylvania and eventually made his way to Clarksville, Tennessee.
In Clarksville, Dixon took a room in this motel. Anne Poteet, a resident housekeeper, first became wary of Dixon when she cleaned his room.
It's the way he acted. It was weird. I mean, he stood by the beds, in between the beds, by the luggage. He wouldn't ever sit down. Didn't want you to make the beds, stuff like that. It's like he was on guard, his luggage. He just was, ready, watching you.
When Dixon's story aired, Pam Poteet recognized him instantly. Within minutes, Pam had contacted both the Unsolved Mysteries phone center and the authorities in Tennessee. By sunrise, FBI agents had Dixon's hideaway staked out.
We knew he was armed and dangerous, and he vowed not to take a life. With that information, obviously you want to approach the subject with extreme caution, but once we got him subdued, he was very cooperative. All he said is, you got me good. Basically that the way that you guys arrested me was the way you needed to arrest me, and it was a lot better that way than, quote, throw bullets to each other.
January 8th, 1996. Fire ravages the inner city church in Knoxville, Tennessee. At first, it seemed an isolated tragedy, but it would soon become linked to what may be a series of vicious hate crimes targeting black churches. This church,
I know it's a stimulating content.
Reggie White, the most feared defensive end in professional football.
I'm going to try to get to bed early tonight.
A 6'5", 300-pound brick wall with legs has another career.
God sent Moses away for about 40 years to get him ready to face that.
Reggie White is an ordained minister, but he's not tackling quarterbacks. He's back in his home state of Tennessee, saving souls. In 1993, Reggie White and two longtime friends in Knoxville founded the Inner City Church by merging two congregations into one. Their goal, to create a church that would serve poor people of all races. Their motto, together we can make a change.
It's very important. It's very important. The church is doing things in our communities that no other churches are doing.
We're segregated all over the country. On Sunday,
I'll be right back. I gotta take a piss.
Black churches, white churches. We wanted to try to have a church that everybody would do, no matter what the color was.
It was a noble undertaking. With aggressive community outreach and self-help programs, the church thrived. Then disaster.
I believe in my heart that it was an attack from the devil himself. That the devil inspired people that he used to fireball my church.
We had a big snow on the ground first.
David Upton was the church's senior pastor.
When I arrived there, it was a sickening feeling in my stomach to see the things we had fought for, the things we had worked so hard to establish over the years of ministry, just to see it just go up in flames.
Within hours, agents from the FBI and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms began to investigate.
An immediate visit to this location indicated to us that it was a very deliberate criminal act. The sanctuary portion of the building had been totally destroyed, but there's another building that sits on the back side of the property that adjoins the rear of the sanctuary. It's a building in which there are classrooms and offices. As the agents went through that portion of the structure, they found multiple Molotov cocktails. They found that both floors of the structure had been saturated with gasoline and kerosene, and they found gasoline cans and kerosene cans scattered throughout this portion of the building.
Agents also found racial epithets scrawled on the wall, leaving little doubt that the arson was a hate. Reggie White was appalled. That turned to outrage when he learned that his church...
Is it a school night?
The only reason that you didn't about my church is because of me.
Well,
22 other churches.
it is Sunday.
That's a problem. And this problem needs to be rectified.
The statistics are alarming. The count is now at least 24 black churches hit by arson in the past 3 years. The attacks have occurred throughout the South, Louisiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Virginia, North and South Carolina. The most recent arson fire occurred on March 5th, 1996.
Both the FBI and the ATF are looking to see if there are any links. We recognize that someone in Kansas, for example, might say, let's burn black churches,
and associates in Tennessee and Alabama and Florida might go out and do those things, but they might use entirely different methods.
I'm watching Unsolved Mysteries on. Yeah.
I don't believe it was anyone would be what you call a professional. Based on the way were set up for the building, I think that they just thought it looked good a whole lot better, and that's what put enough people in there to do the job.
3 days after the inner city church fire,
Yeah, better than watching the radio.
the BFI Brotherhood and Skinheads for White Justice turned up in the bank and had ties to the church. However, the possibility remains that both the flyers and the graffiti were planted as decoys.
That with a deliberate act of arson, the arsonist wants us to look in a different direction away from him. So we have to consider the possibility that the racial graffiti was placed there to divert us into a different direction. So we have to consider the racial motivation as a possibility, but we also have to look at other motivations as well.
The inner city church did not have enough fire insurance to cover all the damage, but with hard work from the parishioners and donations from the community, both black and white, they hope to rebuild.
But the problem is, because racism has eliminated itself so that you can't touch it, when it affects you.
In the meantime, Reggie White and his fellow pastors keep the congregation's spirit strong with church services held in a local school auditorium.
That's why we shooting each other today. That's all. This just makes me more determined. And I know that the only way that you defeat the devil is that you have to do it as a group. And that's why I would say, I would call whites and blacks to come together and find how to work together, because what kills the enemy's tactics is if a bunch of people of all ethnic backgrounds start loving each other.
When we return, for many years, Mary Clancer struggled with crippling effects of multiple sclerosis. Though her faith never wavered, Mary certainly didn't believe in miracles until a
Yeah, I'm okay, Stone Cold ET.
state of Oklahoma is a natural laboratory for studying the world's worst weather. Here at the National Weather Service in Oklahoma City, meteorologists track an average of one severe thunderstorm every week. Sometimes the storms bring tornado-force winds, sometimes softball-sized hail. Not long ago, one of those storms brought with it a gift from the heavens, what one woman calls modern-day. August 17th, 1994. Mary Clemson never thought of herself as a warrior. For 23 years, she fought a battle against multiple sclerosis, a battle she was losing fast. Mary had no idea that this day, an extraordinary event would erase her years of torment and give her back her freedom. In 1972, Mary was 19 years old, vibrantly healthy, and recently engaged to marry Ron Clemson. 6 months before the wedding, she went to the hospital with what she thought was a bad case of flu.
I didn't know whether I had some kind of intestinal bug or whatever.
Who the hell is Truther777?
A lot of neurological problems started coming out that we weren't even aware of.
Mary and Ron was certain something was seriously wrong, but the doctors tried to shield them from the brutal facts.
Can you move your legs at all? You feel this?
It was extremely frustrating not knowing what was going on. Feeling so
I'll take a hard pass on that still.
The left leg was going out. There were bladder complications. So many things were going wrong. It was like I had no control over my own body.
The final diagnosis was devastating. Mary had multiple sclerosis. Ron set out to learn exactly what that meant.
It's a degenerative nerve disease. It affects the impulses from the brain to the muscles.
So what stage is Mary?
They don't know. I mean, one good thing is that she's young.
Ron found out that MS could attack Mary in waves, each episode lasting a few weeks. Between bouts, Mary would appear to be disease-free, sometimes for months. Over the years, however, the attacks could get worse and more frequent.
They told me that I probably would never walk again. And if we did proceed to go ahead and get married, I would not be well enough to have children if I could have children at all. And Ron came in shortly after that. And we talked. And I said to him, you deserve better. You deserve a wife that can walk and a wife that can...
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go lay down and watch TV, y'all.
And they're telling me I can't do any of that. And I took off the engagement ring and said to myself,
I'll try to do a radio show tomorrow.
if I could give love back to me.
But yeah, you gotta be sure to follow me on
I
Rumble.
just gave it right back to him. And I said, no, I mean, I just have faith.
Please follow me on Rumble.
And, you know, when you get married, you get married.
Links in the chat.
We're engaged too.
All right. Love you guys. Have a good night. God bless. If I don't talk to you anymore tonight.
The joy of whole room freshness. Glade Plug-in Scented Oil Fan.
It's all around you. You don't even know it.
It's the only freshener to use a continuous built-in fan.
It's just there in the air.
Unlike some fresheners that seem strong just around the outlet, the Glade fan continuously circulates fragrance throughout your whole room.
This shit'll blow your motherfucking mind. Magic everywhere in this bitch.
Plug-in Scented Oil Fan from Glade. The
pure motherfucking magic
of fragrance.